Hello everyone. My presentation topic is decoding morphological evolution of urban historical area, a case from Laomengdong, Nanjing. Nanjing is this is the plan of today's presentation. 4 parts will be presented. Nanjing is the capital of Jiangsu province and is one of the major cities in China. During the urbanization process, a large number of new heritage areas has been produced under many factors, forming a very complex sitting urban pattern. In order to understand the transformation process of historical areas, this study examines the transformation process of Laomengdong, one historical area in Nanjing. We selected this area as case study areas to interpret the transformation process and to interpret the dynamic factors. By developing the research focusing is by developing a framework to analysis which factors can influence the morphological evolution. The objective of the investigation is to highlight the connection between system concept and morphological changes, considering its importance in understanding urban spatial transformation. This study concludes that the process of morphological evolution is related to a dynamic system composed of multiple factors, which can also provide a theoretical basis for further study. The methodology of this study is by using a morphological approach. An analytical framework is proposed to examine the urban heritage areas. First, the morphological periods are defined according to building types, which can help us understand the transformation process. The morphological period is defined based on the characteristics of representative building types, which are determined by examining local historical information. The second, the relationship between the morphological characteristics of each period and the influence factors is interpreted. The third, by comparing morphological characteristics of each morphological period. This study analysis discuss whether there is a continuity between each morphological period. The third part is case study, the analysis part. The southern part of Nanjing, in Chinese we call it Laochengnan area, is one of the most important preservation areas, the historical areas, where the Confucius Temple is the main part of these areas. Laochengnan area has a considerable number of historical buildings of different periods and is also the most densely populated area. Laomengdong historical area is circled as one of the core areas in Laochengnan by local government. Historically, Laomengdong was a booming area where the shopkeepers, workshops, and merchants were concentrated here. Residents lived in a highly commercial area with crowded lines and alleys. Before the renovation, Laomengdong was a shanty town with old housing and densely populated lines. Because this area has experienced a very long history, many of the old houses lacked the running water, the electricity, and so on. Based on the analytical framework, this study divides the morphological process of Laomengdong into 4 periods. The first is the Mingqing period. Due to the high similarity of morphological characteristics in Ming and Qing dynasties, this study classifies this period as one morphological period. Nanjing was the capital of the Ming dynasty, and a large number of historical physical forms were developed during this period. The country yard house is a classical type of residential building in China. This type developed from the special demand of local lifestyle in different Chinese regions. In Ming and Qing period, almost every home had a country yard with a public space to connect the entrance and the living space. It formed an enclosure space. The country yard is surrounded by the buildings according to the different social levels. The building function distribution is somewhat different. In general, the higher social level had a larger country yard, and the richer building combination and also with a richer building combination and function. In Laomendong, due to the high population density, the scale of country yard of one unit is similar than in North China. The country yard houses are located in both sides of the street, which form a narrow line. The units facing outside the streets has shops selling goods or local food for local residents. In history, some floating vendors sold various goods and food on the street by using the cars, which shaped the form of traditional commercial street. This can be found in some Chinese ancient paintings. These historical elements have been selected and restored into the new space because of their specific historical meaning with local culture. The second morphological period is the Republic of China. During this period, China entered into the semi-colonial period, and many Western elements entered China. Nanjing was the capital of this period, and the urban environment was influenced by political and social factors of this period. The architectural typology shows a shift from the replication of Western architectural elements to a combination of Chinese historical and Western architectural elements, meaning buildings in Laomendong have elements of this period. The third period is before transformation. In 1949, the new China was founded. At the beginning, the unstable socio-economical and a large number of migrants leads to meaning low quality and standard of architecture. A large number of pre-existing buildings were remodeled in a disorderly manner, and one country yard building was often used by several families, meaning illegal buildings also gradually appeared along with the living needs of the residents of this period. The last period is after transformation. In 2014, the Yangtze Olympic Games would be held in Nanjing. This large-scale event has become a driving force for further urban renewal. As a representative historical area in Laochengnan, Laomendong was officially planned as restoring authentic historical characteristics. The goal of the plan is first to renew the old area, and second to further enhance the cultural characteristics of the city. The local residents were erased along with the old houses, who were relocated to other urban areas. Tourists become the main users of the new space. With the support of the local government, the developer has transformed the traditional house area during the Ming-Qing dynasties into a fashionable neighborhood. The new space only follows the unchanging physical morphological characteristics, including the historical architectural forms, street layouts, and so on, without the renewal typology that has undergone a continuous morphological process. Until today, the Laomendong historical feature area is still a very famous scenic area of Nanjing. The last part is discussion and conclusion. According to the analysis, it can be seen that there is a good continuity between the first two morphological periods. The third morphological period begins to show a fracture feature, and in the last process, the morphological characteristics are renovated back to the first two periods. It is worth noting that only the physical form is renovated and the social form is erased. The analysis of morphological periods reveals that the morphological characteristics of different periods are influenced by multiple factors. The constraints of multiple factors jointly contribute to the formation of morphological characteristics. The physical characteristics are closely linked to the socio-economic and local life, technology, architectural resources of different historical periods. The commercial elements of new space has led to an economic success, which can brought the most economic benefit for the developer, also for the local government. However, there is a disconnect between the new space and the culture of their origin. This needs to be focused in the further step. This study reveals that the morphological study is a effective tool to understand the transition process of urban heritage area by identifying morphological periods and analyzing the characteristics of different periods. It reveals that morphological characteristics are influenced by a dynamic system composed of policy, socio-economic, and local life. In other words, the transition of physical space is influenced by a dynamic system with multi-factors, while forming a certain social pattern. If the social form is completely broken and the function of the new space is changed, it can affect the attractiveness and vitality of the space. In further renewal stages, the dynamic of spatial evolution should be further attention. Okay, I finished my presentation. Thank you.